All right, for 8.2, this should be another kind of review lesson because we really have applied this back in Chapter 7 when we did exponents. So we're going to kind of revisit that right now. We're going to multiply polynomials by a monomial. So let's look at the little review here. This is going back to Chapter 7. If I did this, 5x times negative 3x to the fourth, I would multiply the coefficients. So 5 and negative 3, that would give me, what, negative 15. And then if you have x times this x to the fourth, this is where if you're multiplying and you have the same base, you add the exponents. So this x is like saying x to the first. So 1 plus 4 gives me 5. So that's x to the fifth. Okay, so what this kind of proves and kind of basically refreshes our memory with, we'll say the objective for today, we're basically going to distribute. And when we distribute, so I'll put here, our objective is the number or the monomial that's on the outside, we're going to distribute that. And when we distribute, I want to remember two things. I want to multiply the actual numbers or coefficients. So that's the number before the x or before the y. And then the other thing is, for the variables, if you're multiplying the like variables, you want to add the exponents. So this is all review. I'm just tying this into distributive property, which we also have done a lot in the beginning of the year. Okay, so let's look at number 1. Number 1, we have this monomial x on the outside, and we're multiplying it by that trinomial, 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. So I am just going to distribute x to all of these. So I'm going to write out actually all the steps for number 1, just so you can see it. So when you distribute, for that first arrow, it's x times 4x squared. Well, this is like saying 1x, so 1 times this 4 just gives me 4. X times this x squared gives me x cubed. Okay, and then when I distribute again, I'm going to have x. I'm going to put minus because there's this minus right there. So it's negative x times 2x. So I'm still going to have a negative, and x times 2x is 2x squared. And then I do x times the 3. This is going to be, they're all positive, so it's plus. So it's x times 3, which normally we just write as plus 3x. Okay, so this is what we end up with. And I know I can't do anything with this. I can't add these x's up because they all have a different exponent. Here exponent's 3, here the exponent's 2, here it's assumed to be 1. So we know we're done when I don't have any like terms left. Okay, let's do number 2. Now number 2, I'm going to distribute negative 3x squared. So I'm going to kind of skip this step right here. I'm going to kind of go right to the answer. Because kind of just using mental math, you should get the answers right away. All right, if I do negative 3x squared times 7x squared, negative 3 times this 7 is negative 21. And then x squared times this x squared is x to the fourth. I add the exponents. Okay, then if I do negative 3x squared times negative x, well, see, you're multiplying two negatives, so it's going to give us a positive. And the 3 is just going to stay as 3. And then x squared times this x is x cubed. And then the last part, negative 3x squared times positive 4. Well, negative 3 times 4 gives me negative 12. And then I only have the x squared, so I just drop down the x squared. So again, I'm all done. I have all different exponents of 4, 3, and 2. They are not like terms, so we're finished. And you also can see, however many terms you have on the inside of the parentheses, that's how many terms you're going to end up with. Let's do one more. Let's do number 5. Okay, and I'll move this over. Okay, number 5, we are distributing that negative 6d cubed. So let's look at this. So negative 6 times this 3 gives me negative 18. And d cubed times this d to the fourth, I add the exponents of 3 and 4. So it becomes d to the 7th. Okay, I do it the second time. Now here I'm multiplying two negatives. Negative 6 and this negative 2. So negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. Okay, and then this d cubed times this d cubed, I add the two 3's and I get d to the 6th. Let's see, the third one, we're going to have negative 6d cubed times negative d. Again, I'm multiplying this negative with this negative, so they're going to cancel out. It's going to be positive, and it's just going to stay as 6. And this d to the third times d gives me d to the fourth. Then the last one, I'm going to put the last arrow, negative 6d cubed times 9. Let's see here, this negative 6 times 9 is going to give me negative 54. And I don't have any d's with this 9, so I just keep that d cubed. Okay, and I started out with what? in here there were 4 terms. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. They're all different exponents, so they are not like terms. We are finished. Okay, so real basic stuff. You're just multiplying the numbers and just adding the exponents when you distribute.